Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the Early Edge. My name is Nejad, and this show is brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. I'm still in studio, but I'll be back for our special Super Bowl show. I'll be back at home for our Sunday morning Super Bowl special show. That's at 10 o'clock on Sunday. It'll be from 10 to 11. So make sure you dial in there. Make sure you have your alerts turned on SportsLine's YouTube channel. Let's see how we did on the recap screen. We had 4 winning days in a row. We're 0-3 today. My pick is pending and, frankly, might be resolved by the time we get to this show. My pick is losing at the moment, but still has a shot to win. We lose our golf bet, we lose our basketball bet, and we lose our college basketball bet. But, again, overall, it's been a good week. Thursday, not so much. But, ladies and gentlemen, we turn the vibes around because it's 10 o'clock, it's Friday, and that means it's BPE Friday.
Woo!
Let's go. We got Buckets drinking something definitely nutritious. We got Will Brinson. We got Danny Brasco. And we've got Chip Patterson. If you haven't had your coffee, if you haven't had your double espresso, triple espresso, quadruple espresso, you've got your Chip Me Up.
Good morning, see you. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Brinson. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Early Edge fam. Oh boy, what a weekend we got on tap for you. Of course, it is the Super Bowl, but also we get the Olympics. Like, medals are going to be awarded in the next 24 to 48 hours, so make sure you got your eyes on a swivel. I see everybody in the Early Edge fam, they're talking about handicap and speed skating. Not my bag, but I am excited that you are doing that out there. Oh, yeah, and also a massive college basketball slate to get started with a banger in Madison Square Garden tonight on Friday. Saturday slate is loaded. Fired up to get it started with you here today. Let's go!
Super Bowl weekend is, in fact, upon us, says Typhoon. Smash the like button, says Typhoon. Absolutely love to see that. Brasco, you seem like the type of guy. You know, we know you're a big UFC guy, obviously. We know you're a big NFL guy, obviously. We know you dabble in cricket. Speed skating's got to be the next thing, right?
The wide world of wacky sports is open to me with the Olympics. Speed skating, I was looking at curling lines yesterday.
Ooh, yes.
And some controversy already in the Olympics. It looks like ski long jumpers are injecting hyaluronic acid into the underparts of their nether regions to be able to custom fit larger suits, which allows them to fly further. You can rig anything at this point. Yeah, obscure betting. You better know obscure things like this when it comes to the Olympics. So lock in, people. It's going to be a weird, fun season.
Buckets, people want to know, speaking of obscure betting, are you going to have a Super Bowl pick for us during the pendency of this show?
I will, but not to take Danny's point here. When I was in Austria, I went to the Berghausel ski jump in Innsbruck just to look at I didn't realize that was a sport. I mean, yeah. I've never been more scared of anything in my life. The whole goal is to just go down a 160-foot ramp and then see how far you can fly before dying. I don't get it, but it was cool to see at the very least.
Will, so I'm looking at your picks, and we're going to start with Bucket's picks, but I actually kind of want to get one of your picks out of the way because it just warms my heart.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Super Bowl picks. We got college football. It's not college football. I see Chip Patterson. I'm like, we got college football. We got college basketball. We got UFC, NFL. I've got a PGA pick for this afternoon. And again, the PGA pick I put out yesterday, it's losing. I think it resumes in about 9 minutes, so we'll see what happens on the 17th hole. We have a chance to come back there. But Will, we have that special show that you're going to be on. 10 o'clock on Sunday, the special Super Bowl show. The entire SportsLine universe is going to be filtering through that show. We're going to have some fun bets. We're going to have a lot of our official plays, like the normal bets, maybe some SGPs. A lot of things are going to be coming from that show. But you have 3 picks for the Super Bowl. Can you just do the one? I just want to start off with the one, the negatively correlated Rashid Shaheed one. And then I've got an add-on to that, but I want you to go first.
Yeah, so I sent, like, as I do every time I'm on this Friday show, I sent in like 12 picks, and Ben was like, "Hey, could you trim that?" He sent me a private email. Producer Ben was like, "Can you trim that down to like 3, and maybe we'll save the other 9 for Sunday with the actual Super Bowls on?" I was like, "No problem. Let's do this one. Let's do this one." And I'm going to include, because he is hosting, the inverse correlated Rashid Shaheed parlay for the Super Bowl. Rashid Shaheed, remember, last 2 weeks ago I was on the show and I said we're going to take Rashid Shaheed over even though his usage was garbage. We got there on the first drive with one deep shot to Rashid Shaheed. Now, here's the thing. His under receptions is plus money at 1.5. It's a low number. His yardage is low too, at like his total's like 24.5 maybe. If you take Rashid Shaheed to get 40 plus receiving yards and have under 1.5 receptions and parlay them, and the reason these odds are so good, as C has explained many times, I'm sure, is that it's even less likely to happen because he has to do it on one catch. He can't catch 2 balls. He can't catch 0 balls, obviously. He can't catch 3, he can't catch 4. He has to get a 140-plus yard reception, and that's it. But I kind of think that's likely, and here's why. This is going to be a game, in my opinion, that there's not going to be a ton of points. There's going to be a lot of defense. We're going to see Seattle try to run the ball. We're going to see New England try to run the ball. I think both sides will be unsuccessful, but I think both coaches will be conservative. I think they will kick field goals. I think that they will punt as necessary. Seattle rarely goes on 4th down, but I do think that there's going to be some trick plays built in. They're going to lean on Rashid Shaheed in the return game big time, and I think they'll use him in the rushing game some, and therefore his targets are just going to be submerged. But early on in this game, like they did in the NFC Championship game, I expect at least one deep shot to Rashid Shaheed. They're going to feed Cooper Kupp underneath. They're going to feed JSN underneath, but they're going to take that one shot. We're going to get that 40-yard bomb early. He's going to get over it. I don't know if he scores or not. That's going to be his one catch for the game, and we're going to ride this sweet, sweet inverse correlated parlay into some big cash money.
So here's my add-on, and Eric David beat me to the punch because before you finished what was a great analysis, Eric David's like, "Hey, what if we do the Sia thing and we just throw a touchdown on top of that?" Do you want to guess what the number is, Will? If we throw an anytime touchdown on that, just guess.
I think he's like plus 350 for an anytime touchdown. So I'll say 125 to 1.
It's 190 to 1.
190
to 1. And here's the beauty of Rashid Shaheed. Here's the beauty of it. We could get it on an end around where he doesn't even have a reception. We can get it on a kickoff return where he doesn't even have a reception. So we have outs for an anytime touchdown. We actually saw Rashid Shaheed score a kick. When I did a reverse correlated Rashid Shaheed parlay, it was probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can't remember the game. He didn't get there on the yards, but he got the anytime touchdown because of a kickoff return. So we have some outs there. Listen, you all understand we've got like normal official picks on this show, but that's a fun $1 or $2 sprinkle, at least on if you add the anytime touchdown or Will's bet. Again, these are fun bets you can experiment with. All right, let's get to.
I would say too. You could even do something where you allocate like a half a unit to this play, where you do a quarter unit on the anytime touchdown, and then split up the other quarter unit on the 2 different parlays, where if he scores a touchdown at any time, you're going to make money. And if he scores a touchdown, only catches 1 ball and goes over the 40 yards, you are going to have an awesome Sunday.
Brasco, how you feeling about these reverse correlate? I feel like for the Sunday show, we should pick out maybe 1 or 2 other receivers and have this analysis as well.
Well, this is fun because he is the Nev Core God. We trademarked that statement, Nev Core. And I like that Will's bringing that. I mean, Shaheed is the best candidate. I like what he said about Cooper Kupp. I don't have that many plays out on the Super Bowl yet, but if you're going for a negative correlation, maybe some volume ends up happening like Brinson alluded to underneath for Kupp. So far in my limited selection, I'm looking at some veteran Kupp plays. He's been there before, that's piqued my interest.
Super Bowl MVP just 3 years ago. I like Cooper Kupp's receptions. Meg gave it out at plus money over 3.5 receptions. I like including him in SGPs at 3+ receptions so that we don't have to get to 4, but I could absolutely see him gobbling up some volume. We've got some golf picks in the chat. Big Cheesy, you've got some golf picks. We'll address those in a little bit, but let's get to some more picks. Buckets, you're going to kick us off like you normally do. How about some soccer plays?
Absolutely. And real quick, Will, no pressure, but if that bet misses, me and my dog are going to need a place to stay for a little bit. I didn't do a buck or 2. I did everything. So not blaming you, but just throwing it out there. All right, I got 3 plays for the pitch, then I'll give you my Super Bowl bet as well at the end. If you are somebody that hates betting on both teams to score, turn off the stream right now and stop watching, because all 3 of my bets, or mute, I guess, and just look at Sia's biceps the whole time. Whatever gets you through the show, whatever you got to do here. I'm going with both teams to score on all 3 of my bets today, starting with Union Berlin versus Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. Both teams to score at minus 130. Frankfurt are the better side. Frankfurt also have the most goals conceded in the entirety of the Bundesliga. They've played 20 matches. Those 20 matches have seen 85 goals. Both teams to score is usually minus 200, minus 250. And because they're playing a KG Union Berlin side, you're giving it to me at playable odds. That's stupid. Berlin are going to score 2 here. Frankfurt are going to score 2 here. This is going to cash in the first half. Mark my words. Then we go to Serie A, where we have a bottom of the table relegation battle between Hellas Verona taking on Pisa. And Pisa are one of the most frustrating teams to bet on, not just in Italy, but in the entirety of Europe. They're this weird Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or Mr. Hyde and Ruby Tuesday. I don't remember what the actual correct use of this analogy is. But when Pisa play at home, Pisa play at home, over 2.5 goals at home has hit in only 17% of their 11 home matches. When they play on the road, over 2.5 goals has hit in 75% of their away matches. They can't score to save their lives when playing in front of their home fans. I don't know if it's the pressure, if it's the pitch, whatever it is, they suck at home. But on the road, they get something going, a little bit of passion, a little bit of boom, 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 boom in their chest, and they start scoring goals. So the fact that we're getting both teams to score at even money, plus 100 for a matchup, and it is a relegation battle. This is a massive 6 points. This is 6 points that you have to go for. Both teams will be pressing for 90 minutes, and I think this, again, hits pretty damn early in this matchup. Third and final bet, we go to Leeds United in the Premier League hosting Nottingham Forest, a.k.a. Dominic Calvert-Lewin versus Morgan Gibbs-White. Once again, both teams to score at -110. This shouldn't be playable, but it is. This is an overreaction because the books just watched Leeds get smacked in the back of the head by Arsenal 4-0. They played Arsenal. They played the best team not only in the Prem, but potentially in the world right now. Of course you're going to lose that matchup, but now people are saying, whoa, Leeds can't score. What happened? I don't think it's Nottingham Forest. I know they're in good form. I know they're turning things around, but this should not be playable for, again, a game that I think is going to have 3, 4, or 5 goals. So both teams to score in Germany, in Italy, and in England. That's it, Sia. I'm done.
Woo! Right.
And Super Bowl bet.
Yeah.
Obviously, coin toss tails, but as they mentioned yesterday, don't bet that on a book with negative EV. Like, bet it with your buddy, $50 on it being tails. And then I also like for the shortest touchdown to be under 1.5 yards. So a little, I think that's just a 1 yard rush. That makes sense.
No, that's hit in like it's I don't know if it's still streaking, but it's hit in like 80% of the last 10 to 15 Super Bowls, I believe. So yeah, very good bet. You're just looking for some PI, and then a 1 yard rushing score, particularly with these teams.
I'm big PI fan, so I'm hoping we get lots of that in the Super Bowl.
Yes. What's PI stand for again, Buckets?
No idea.
Yeah, actually, you know what PI stands for. Danny was talking about PI earlier to kick off the show.
Inflation.
with those long jumpers.
Maybe not as much of a PI fan as I thought. Now that we think about it,
I hate when I don't really get the joke right away.
They're injecting. I think it's a medical term.
Don't reiterate it.
Just move on. Sia will tell you when you're older. Let's go to the next.
Okay,
Sia, this is the World Doping Agency is investigating this, and they have pledged that they are making it a top priority to look into these allegations. I mean, I read it in the New York Times, a capital J journalistic outfit, that injections are happening in the nether regions in order to enhance these long jumps.
Guys, I mean, like, I don't want to be the one, like the dad here, but the technical term is the P word. Like, that's the scientific term for the male genitalia. You can say, like, you can't get fired for saying penis on a street. Like, it is the technical term.
Will was the guy. Will was the kid in class.
We got a case study right here, Will.
No. Will said pizza. That was it. He was talking about Bucket's bet.
Pisa inflation. It's the inflated goals you see when Pisa play on the road. PI.
He told me to move on like 90 seconds ago. Why are we still here? All right, let's move.
It's not like the New York. Sorry.
There's golf plays I want to address in the chat, but I think we need to transition to some college basketball. Chip Patterson, hit us with some UConn.
So, we got a little bit of a early bird worm scenario here. Friday night, oh, baby, Danny Hurley, Rick Pitino, UConn, St. John's, the most famous arena in the world, Madison Square Garden. That place is going to be absolutely bananas for this Friday night showdown between the two best teams in the Big East. So as I look at these teams, Sia, I think that UConn is the better team on a neutral. Technically, they are the road team. I think we got double value because I don't think this is a neutral. In fact, I think the home team, St. John's, is at a negative advantage here when it comes to home court advantage because Danny Hurley has been an absolute monster in MSG. Earlier this season, he took out Illinois. He took out Florida. Those are two teams that are going to be competing for the national championship. And if you look back over the last couple of years, 11-2 over the last 13 games for UConn in MSG. Now, they did lose to St. John's last year. St. John's actually got the best of the Huskies in the regular season, and I think maybe that adds even a little bit more motivation because the Huskies are a better team than St. John's. They have been performing at a better level than St. John's for much of the season. So when we have a scenario where I think that the home court advantage is flipped in the wrong direction, I think that we've got value on the Huskies. Now, I mentioned early bird worm scenario. I put this in on SportsLine yesterday. I've been circling this spot. I knew that UConn was going to be able to have a little bit of an edge that the models that release those initial lines are not going to be able to have. So let's have a conversation about where to take it if this is your first time looking at the line, because what was 1.5 has moved out to 2.5, and what was 115, 120 has danced all the way out to like 145 or even starting to touch 150. Clearly, I'm not the only one who is out here very aware of, I kid you not, Stores South. That is the way they call that place. The way that UConn fans take over Madison Square Garden, they call it Stores South. And so I think that you need to play this up to 2.5 if you're going to get it, but I would not lay the 150. This is going to be an amazing game. Other ways to play it. We're moving a little bit down in terms of the under. Hot building theory. I've told you about it before. I think that I'm on the other side. I would like the over. A UConn team total over would be something else that I would take a look at. But ultimately, this is a spot. We're on a big stage in an arena that the Huskies absolutely love and take over. I think that they show and make a statement that they are the class of the Big East and a true national championship contender. So if you have not gotten in on this, if you don't have your SportsLine alerts turned on, again, I would take it, a 1.5 and a 2.5. If this thing dances out to 3.5, that's when I might have to maybe tell you to watch it live, see if St. John's gets off to a hot start and if you can grab a better number, because I do think the game is going to be very, very competitive. I just think the Huskies are the better team, and I think the environment is actually going to favor the team that is 11-2 in their last 13 games in the world's most famous arena.
Great analysis. I love how you addressed how the juice has moved and how to play it and where to stop and things of that nature as well. We've got a lot more to cover. We're 20 minutes into the show, but Danny, you're coming up next with some UFC picks. I've got a PGA pick, some PGA questions to address in the chat. And Will, you've only given out the one sort of fun NFL play. You still have 2 official plays to give out on this show and many more on the Sunday show. But before we get there, let me tell you about BetMGM. I told you about this yesterday. I mean, these are opportunities you do want to take advantage of because long-term, they really do impact your bankroll. BetMGM is offering low vig prices for the big game. It's called Odds Flash, and it's available right now on the BetMGM app. Check out top spread prices for the showdown between New England and Seattle. You'll only find Odds Flash with BetMGM, and there's no better game than the big game to give it a try. We got to give UFC bets a try. We got to give PGA picks a try, more NFL Super Bowl picks a try, right after this message from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, and I got to tell you, Danny, this Paramount Plus UFC marriage is already starting off so great. I absolutely love it. There's so much going on, and there's a lot of programming on Paramount Plus, aside from, obviously the new programming with UFC that people don't even really know about quite yet. So there's a lot of this content, Early Edge content, Early Wedge, that's going to be up there too. Talk to me about UFC fights this weekend.
I love how you set me up, Sia. It's been great to start off the Paramount era. UFC 324 and 325 were bangers. And just because this isn't a numbered card, do not sleep on it. The fight nights at the Apex, where people are lamenting, oh, there's no one on this. Well, I don't know any of the bangers. Time in and time out, they're amazing fight nights. So lock in here. Let's kick it off with the main event of the evening. And this is a high-level bantamweight matchup. Give me Mario Batista at -155. I'll be straight. I played this at -180, and you see sometimes the CLV doesn't always have tremendous value in MMA. CLV is not as important in UFC as it is in NFL or NBA, other sports like that, because the market gets it wrong a lot of the time. And now that the line is coming back down on Batista, I think there's great value here, namely because this is a 5-round fight and Batista has elite cardio and elite durability. He's taken on a guy that I really like, Vinicius Lock Dog Oliveira, a guy that we've cashed on the early edge multiple times as an underdog. So it kind of pains me to go against him. Oliveira has this unorthodox, awkward style where he's throwing looping hooks and kind of off-balance shots, odd angles. It looks like he's kind of out of control, but it's very intentional. He's trying to break you. He's trying to set a pace and really just make his opponents fold, his pressure, his physicality. But you're not going to do that to Mario Batista. I mean, Batista's physique and athletic shape is insane right now. He's got the gas tank. And he's got excellent grappling. He just lost a 29-28 fight to Umar Nurmagomedov, who's very likely going to be the next bantamweight champion when he gets his shot again. And Umar got dropped with a perfectly timed knee. Batista was able to hit multiple grappling reversals and switches on him. And despite losing, he really showed out how high level he is. So against Oliveira, it's really going to be about taking this into the later stages. Don't break to the pressure. Don't fold. You know that saying from Breaking Bad, I am the one who knocks. Batista has to be the one that sets the pace. He's not going to let Oliveira fold him. And if it gets into the later stages, then it's kind of a dogfight. Oliveira could get finished. He's been finished in all 3 of his pro losses. I think he's the one that fatigues, and Batista shows that he's a level higher, I should say. Moving on, man, this is a great fight at flyweight. I'm taking Kyoji Horiguchi to win by decision. And last time he was in the octagon, the 35-year-old veteran gave us a y'all must have forgot performance. Horiguchi returned to the UFC just recently, and when he was with the promotion in 2013 to 2016, he was 7-1. His one loss, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson for the flyweight title. That's the flyweight GOAT, and he lost by armbar with 1 second on the clock in the 5th round. It's one of the most epic title wins of all time for Mighty Mouse. But Horiguchi was at that level, and he came back and showed everyone against Tagir Ulanbekov he's not slowing down at all. This guy picked Ulanbekov apart in every area of MMA. He shut down his lead leg. He made him a flamenco. He was doing the chicken dance on one leg, and then he started mixing it up to the body. Ulanbekov would duck down to block that, mix it up to the head. I mean, Horiguchi looked dangerous. He looked shifty and bouncy on the outside, and his grappling was smooth. He was flowing through positions. He's going to be able to do all that against Amir Albazi, a very athletic and explosive fighter, but a guy that's been dealing with so many injuries. He's been inactive, and he's kind of a heavy bag. He's there to get hit. He stands in front of his opponents. I think Horiguchi is going to be too slick for him. Really, it's a bet on Albazi to be tough enough to go the distance, and I think Horiguchi is going to outpoint him on the scorecards. And lastly, we'll kick it off with a twofer. Give me Jailton Almeida on the money line, and I like him to get the finish as well in this matchup. A lot of people might back his opponent, Rizvan Kunaev, because he was straight up robbed in his last fight. I thought he beat Curtis Blades. We actually cashed on Blades, so sometimes the judges play you, sometimes they reward you. And Blades got the split decision win in a fight that he did not deserve. So Kunaev might get some love. He's the striker in this matchup. He's got the more dangerous hands. But Blades, the wrestler, gave Kunaev some problems. Almeida, the jiu-jitsu ace, will give him even more problems. Watching that fight back, Kunaev, when he was taken down in the first round, was crawling back on all fours to the cage to get back to the fence and help it and use that to help him get back up. If you put both hands on the mat against Jailton Almeida, he will jump a rear naked choke. He will get hooks in, flatten you out, and start threatening with ground and pound, put you in top mount, threaten with submissions. I think his style is going to be way too much for Kunaev. So I think he gets hooks in, he starts that ground and pound, and maybe finds a sub. I like Almeida to win this fight and to win it inside the distance. And there's some picks for UFC Fight Night for you guys. Let's go.
Wow, amazing stuff as usual from Danny Brasco. Let's get to some questions. Chip, there's some college basketball questions. One relating to Michigan State tomorrow against Illinois. Michigan State looks like they're laying 1.5 points, and Scott Edwards wants to know what you think.
Yeah, Breslin Center, a little angsty after Sparty's lost their last 2 games. Talking to some people who are very plugged in on the Illinois side of things, I think that they wish that Michigan State had not lost to Minnesota, because then maybe they would be coasting. Now, all of a sudden, this takes a little bit of a Super Bowl type appearance for the Spartans. That said, I think that there is a way that Illinois defensively can cause problems the same way that Michigan did. Remember, Michigan had all that size, and Michigan State missed 13 of their first 16, 17 shots, and all of a sudden the game got away from them. They made a charge. They got it back to 6 points in the second half. And I don't know if you've seen this, Sia, but there is a zone defense with like 7-2, 7-2, 6-10, and then 6-9 up top, 6-9 up top. Illinois has so many long players that if they do slip into that kind of defense and just test Sparty to see if they can make it, then all of a sudden you could cause real problems if Michigan State's not making their shots. Now, that said, Michigan State losing 3 in a row, given their quality, seems a little unlikely. Massive test for Brad Underwood's crew. I lean Illinois, but only for the spot would I not make it an official play, given the fact that there's going to be a lot more desperation on Michigan State's side.
All right, Buckets, I got a couple soccer questions for you. And knowing you've probably already got like a list to respond to. But Ray Garcia wants to know, Frankfurt game over 2.5, and both teams to score is plus 120.
Absolutely. It's just a good way to get that juice down from minus 130 to plus 120. Again, Frankfurt is conceding goals left and right to everyone. I think that's a great way to look at it. To Jeff Stenberg's question, Buckets, do we like Arsenal, Sunderland, both teams to score at plus 140? No. And I don't like going against Jeff because Jeff scares me a little bit. I've seen what he says on Twitter. He's an intimidating guy here. Jeff, I think the bet makes a lot of sense. I think it's a good number at plus 140. As a Sunderland fan, as of this season, I'm just nervous because last time they showed they can play for this cagey 0-0 when they want to. They are going to be a bit distracted going into this game, but it's just not a bet that I'm willing to take.
All right. Will, you had a golf question for me. I'm about to give out my golf pick, and I got to tell everybody, my Haotong Lee plus 126 3-ball looks like it's going to lose. That's officially a loss at this point. He bogeyed the 17th hole where I thought he had a birdie opportunity. Neil Shipley parred that hole, so it's too much separation on the final hole. So that's going to be an X for me for the recap screen. Ben, you can put that up officially today if you want, since that is a loss. But again, I did recommend putting maybe a half a unit as opposed to full unit on that, but it's a loss nonetheless. It's a play that I actually liked, and I'm about to give out another golf play, but Will, why don't you introduce a golf question to me that I probably won't get right?
Yeah, so I think this is a fascinating one. So Scotty Scheffler yesterday shot a +2, one of the worst rounds you ever see Scotty. I think the worst round of his career, probably. He had the longest current streak of even or better on the PGA Tour. With Scotty losing that, do you know who the current holder for the longest streak of rounds, even or better on the PGA Tour is? It's a pretty surprising answer.
Chris Goddard.
Wow.
It is not Chris Goddard. That's a good guess, though. No, I saw it and I was like, what?
That's got to be more of a veteran than Goddard, I'd imagine. But just tell us the answer, because it's going to take me too long to think of somebody.
It is Ricardo Fowler. Ricky Fowler has 23 straight rounds of par or even par, better shot, even par yesterday. I think it's just I don't think Ricky's going to go win this event, but I do think it's an interesting commentary on the state of Ricky's game and how he's definitely on the upswing.
He was one of my four actually, one of my 4 outrights this week. So, I mean, and Ricky could still bounce back and contend in this tournament. By the way, my round matchup, let me get that out of the way. This one starts at around 2 o'clock. It's under the 3-ball matchup category. And if you want to play the actual 3-ball, that 3-ball involves Pearson Coody, and I know we've got some love in the chat from Big Cheesy and others on Pearson Coody. He's been playing very good golf. So you may not want to get involved in that 3-ball, but if you have the 3-ball matchup available, Højgaard minus 125 over Max Grazerman. Again, this one at 2 o'clock today. I really, like I mentioned on the early wedge, I think it was the early wedge, where I was talking about Højgaard and the fact that if there was going to be a Thomas Dietrich of this tournament, somebody to just come in and surprise a lot of people like Dietrich did at this tournament, winning very comfortably last year, it would be Nicolai Højgaard. And so far, that's looked pretty good. 5 under yesterday. I just like Nicolai Højgaard's game for this course in particular. I think he's going to do just fine today. And Max Grazerman is one of those guys that I put in the high variance camp. He can absolutely crush it on any given 18 holes, but I don't really love the state of his game right now. Yesterday, he was okay. I just really like Nicolai Højgaard coming in. So this is more of a play on Nicolai rather than a fade of Max Grazerman, but it's a little bit of both. I like this number, minus 125. I expect Højgaard to have another very good day today. Will, go ahead.
I was going to say very quickly, Nicolai Højgaard led the entire field yesterday in ball striking, second in strokes gained tee to green behind only Chris Goddard. And Grazerman, despite, with that price, Grazerman was negative strokes tee to green. Like that's a minus 125 is a really good look there. Højgaard should have a very nice day today.
And again, if you want to take the 3-ball, it involves Pearson Cootie, but it's still like plus 180 for Nikolai. So I do think that's actually worth a sprinkle if you don't have this one available. But again, these 3-ball matchups available over at DK. All right, we got more questions to get to, but we also have your NFL picks, Will Brinson. So talk to me about the 2 NFL picks that you're bringing to this show. And again, we've got the special show Sunday 10 to 11, where we're going to have many more picks from Will Brinson. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I'll do what we call in the business a teaser, and just note that I have 3 pretty long shot MVP bets that we'll give out on the show on Sunday. Triple digit MVP bets, which I think in this particular Super Bowl are a pretty good look. But for these particular bets, we're just gonna go straight forward. It's a Super Bowl. There's a lot of people who bet it, multiple billions of dollars wagered. Everyone, you know the phrase, no one wants to bet. It's the Tom Finelli special. Nobody wants to take it under. No, unders aren't any fun. It's the biggest betting day of the year. Who wants to take it under? Well, I'm telling you what, this total of 45.5 is juiced because it's a Super Bowl. If this were a normal non-Super Bowl game, I think this total would be 43.5. Now, you might get some trickeration. Maybe you get some deep shots, but you look at the teams involved. You have the Seahawks, who I think have gone for it like less than 10 times on 4th down this year. So they're going to kick. The Patriots, Mike Vrabel, has been an absolute turtle offensively, and how he's playing these games against good defenses in the postseason, just keeping his team in the game, trying to get a chance to win. He's not going to be hyper aggressive. They are not. Neither team wants their quarterback, whether it's Sam Darnold or MVP runner-up. Shout out to Matthew Stafford, Drake May. Neither team wants their quarterback throwing a ton in this game because you are going against 2 of the 5 best defenses in football. They're going to try to run with Ramondre Stevenson. They're going to try to run with Kenneth Walker. I don't know how well anybody's going to run, but I think they're going to convert some. You got these receivers and Diggs and JSN and Cooper Kupp who can convert those 3rd downs into some longer drives, sustained plays. I think this under is one of the best looks you'll see all season long. Nothing's guaranteed. You can get a shootout in the second half, but I think these defenses come to play, and we see a very, very low-scoring game. Also, like the first half under, I think like 20.5.
All right, and then did you have one?
Sorry, one more. Yeah, one more. Look. This thing's been cashing all year long. Drake May rushing. The Seahawks are going to get pressure on May. I think Josh McDaniels will probably design 1 or 2 or dial up 1 or 2 designed runs. We see they do it in the red zone all the time. May's a fantastic runner. He's physical. He's fast. He gets down. He doesn't take big hits. And on these scramble stuff, he can pick up 20 or 30 yards on a run really quickly. Seattle will fly to the ball, of course, but I think May, 37.5 rushing yards is a very good look. Was 39.5, got bet down a little bit, so we're buying back here.
All right, we've got Ian. By the way, Drake May's touchdown prop, his anytime touchdown, I think it's a reasonable number. Isn't it, Will, like plus 270 or something?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very reasonable number. I would say, again, having just touted the under, right? Or hyped up the under, I would suggest that be careful. Touchdown parlays are fun. This is not the Super Bowl for touchdown parlays. I think if you're going to look at longer shots like a Travion Henderson, Rashid Shaheed, it's going to be tough to score. Both these teams are great in short yardage. And again, I think both teams will take the points when given the opportunity. So I don't think we see a ton of scoring, but I do like the Drake May because, you saw it, in the last game in the AFC Championship game where they're like, yeah, we will absolutely run Drake May down by the goal line.
By the way, that first half under is 23.5. Jerry Edlin confirming that as well. I like that as well. I mean, I think we see leaning on defenses, punting, no 4th down risks, conservative game plans in the first half. So I like the first quarter under and the first half under. Brasco, you're kind of the under king when it comes to totals. Do you have any take on the 45.5 here?
I like it. I like that first half look too. I could totally see 13-10 after a half of play.
Yeah.
I love the under there. It's going to be scary, especially in the big game going, betting on things not to happen. But I like that sentiment, especially if the tickets and the money are piling up. I'm going to want to be on the other side.
Buckets, did we get to all the soccer questions? I'm trying to figure out if we left anything off the table.
We've got someone asking about the Dutch match between NAC Breda taking on Excelsior. They're asking about both teams to score in over 2.5 goals. I do really like this. NAC have kind of adapted this very high line recently in Dutch play. And if you look at their last 3 matches, 2-2 draw, 2-2 draw, 4-3 loss, they're altering how they play because they need to score goals, but their defense is clearly lacking in that. So I do enjoy that bet and think it's a good look. And then I've got a super Super Bowl question for anyone. What do we think of any player to record a completed pass of 86 or more yards at plus 5,000?
It's tough, man.
So 50 to 1 to record a completed pass of 86 yards
Or more. It would be a Super Bowl record.
Yeah, so the problem there is that with the new kickoff rules in particular, I think you're going to see you're going to have to it's going to have to be a shot play off of a punt.
Yeah.
Or or like a red zone turnover and then like somebody dials up a deep shot. It's got to be a pass play, so like Travion Henderson rush wouldn't count. God, I don't know, man.
Would a pick six count?
I don't know.
Would what
Would a
count?
pick six count?
Just reading.
No, I don't think so.
That's how
I
you
would-
win that. Because, like you said,
I don't-
it's going to be hard to start inside the 15-yard line in general.
Yeah.
Pick six is the way you win that.
Yeah, I would rather
I-
have I would rather have the Rashid Shaheed. You know, if we're talking about running out,
50 to
just
1.
kinda three
Yeah,
out.
well, and like the problem is if either of these teams gets the ball, because Drake May has he has at least I think maybe 7 fumbles in the postseason. Sam Darnold is like a guy that you don't want holding the ball inside the shadow of his own end zone. Like I think if either team gets the ball inside the 15, they're probably running it on first down. And probably running it on second down, and probably running it on third down, unless it's like a long one and they have to try to convert. So, I love long shots buckets, but I don't think I love that.
I think this is really cool and important because you're going to have a lot of people betting on the Super Bowl that don't actually know football like me. So just the fact that bet exists, and for me, it's like, well, that's kind of cool. And it's probably not even going to get the chance. I think that's important, right?
Evidence that we love the sound of our own voices and that we talk way too much. That was
Fine,
basically
fine,
like
fine.
a joke
Fine,
question,
fine,
whether
fine.
he realized it or not. And we spent 3 minutes on answering the question of whether a reception of 86 plus yards is actually in play at 50 to 1. Brasco, finish this thought off that apparently we've spent too much time.
Let me go to a different thought, and that's that Eric David is pointing out that Larry Hartstein had an interesting look. Both teams to have a field goal of 33 plus yards. That's a bet that's cashed multiple times for me this season. Instead of an 86-yard touchdown from your own, inside your own 20, how about something more conservative in that of team just settling for points in a very, reasonable field goal range? I think that's a good look in a Super Bowl where it'll be very game managed.
And you have two of the best kickers, and like you have 2 good kickers. You have good conditions. Yeah, that's a very good look by Larry for sure.
The NFL Prop Show, we had Dave Richard and RJ White, all 3 of us in studio. It's in your podcast feed. It's on SportsLine's YouTube. Go check it out because we talked about that bet and we talked about RJ White's 60 bets to consider for Super Bowl 60. And one that I really liked that he had on the show and in his article, I know, Bucket, 60 bets. But again, we're betting responsibly. It was just to consider, not to actually bet all 60. Second half to be the highest scoring half was minus 115. Which I absolutely love with teams having to open it up and maybe some opportunistic defenses in the second half. If you can find that bet, really like that number on second half scoring. Chip, were there any college basketball bets that we needed to get to? I did see somebody asking about VCU and Dayton.
Yeah, they were asking about tagging a UConn money line with VCU to be able to take off some of the way that juice has moved. Love that. VCU playing at home against Dayton. I think they are the much better team. I would absolutely take the Rams to be able to have a nice little Friday night where you're not having to sweat those spreads in both of those games.
Brasco, did you see the PFL question regarding Musayev?
And see, you got to say that name. Kurmagomedov. I won't make you do it. I did. I haven't been betting PFL. I've been totally locked in on UFC. Musayev, I believe, is about a minus 350 favorite. I think he wins that fight, but I'm not really betting it, Romeo. But that's my favorite name, by the way, Romeo Dobstan. Love the question, bro.
For all your NFL questions, again, we are going to have, because I didn't get to everything, there's also apparently a joke that I'm not in on because I can't see the chat quite as well when I'm in studio. With all that said, that show on Sunday, 10 to 11, make sure you're in here for that. Before we get to the recap screen, we're going to leave on this because, Buckets, you just randomly threw out Ruby Tuesday when you were talking your take. We got to go around the horn, and then we'll get to the recap screen. Your favorite sort of mall restaurant, maybe second-tier restaurant, we're talking like the Ruby Tuesdays, TGI Fridays, the Chili's, the Outbacks. I'm leaving out like 10 others. You go first, Buckets. We're going to go around the horn. Our favorite of that ilk of restaurant, Buckets.
Annie Ann's.
Never heard of it.
No.
I knew that was going to happen.
Restaurant? That's a pretzel spot.
I worked
Annie's?
at Annie Ann's. It is a restaurant and a damn good one at that, Danny.
Okay, we're talking chain restaurants. Is it like a...
Okay, fine. Cheesecake Factory. Does that work?
There you go.
That does work.
There you
All right,
go.
Will Brinson?
I mean, I'll probably just be simple here and say Chili's. I think Chili's. I actually had Easter lunch with at a Chili's one time. It's a true story. My mom was a retired minister down east in Kinston, North Carolina. Tip knows, real ones know Kinston, and that was the closest restaurant that we could get Easter reservations for. So my family had Easter brunch at a Chili's. It was fantastic.
God bless, brother. God bless.
Danny Brasco?
For the childhood nostalgia, give me Uno Pizzeria. Love that spot when I was a kid.
Wow. Okay. Chip Patterson.
Great American Cookie Factory. So you could go anywhere in the mall, but at the end, you wrap it up with a dynamite cookie. Maybe even you make it an ice cream sandwich cookie, a chipwich, if you will. So yeah, Great American Cookie Factory.
We said no to the pretzel place, but we're fine with a place
Yeah,
that only sells cookies.
Ice
This
cream
is
sandwiches?
not Chip. First of all, get your A1C checked. Also, can you give us a real answer?
Chick-fil-A.
There you go.
That's a fast food. That's not a sit-down restaurant.
Hey, Chick-fil-A at the North Hills Mall, absolutely dynamite. And then you go over to KB Toys, and then you go to the Great American Cookie Factory.
KB Toys.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, I'll give my answer since Chip refuses. I'm holding you in contempt. I'll go with, I wanted to say Fridays, but Cheesecake Factory does feel like a cheat code a little bit. I think I got to go Cheesecake Factory there. Put your answers in the chat, or Fuddruckers, old school,
Nice.
Jay Long.
Fuddruckers slaps. Fuddruckers slaps, yeah.
I did see, Scott said, is Chip not going to have anything on UNC Duke? I do actually have a hunch here. Duke's been a very good second half team. The building is absolutely going to be crazy. I would take North Carolina first half, Duke second half, and then flip those. Those lines are not available quite yet, but when they are, that's something I'll be looking at.
See, I'm sorry, I have to interject because people are putting their favorite chains in the chat. Look, all respect to whatever you guys like to eat, but Sbarro's pizza is unacceptable. If you go to a Sbarro's, do me a favor, order a slice, walk out the door, and throw it in a garbage can. Don't do that.
Sbarro's, not a sponsor anytime soon. It's true, though. A lot of times you roll up and it's just sitting there for a while. It's like, that's probably not the place you want to
Sbarro's is
go.
cardboard. It's a cardboard slice.
Olive Garden probably deserved a little more love in that segment too. Olive Garden.
Will, do you want me to drop Conky on this? Conky's a mall restaurant.
God, yeah.
You know,
Conky works. Conky, yeah.
Your regional takes are not resonating with the country, gentlemen. And real ones know it's not a thing.
Conky is just Benihana.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Benihana
is a little too advanced for this category of restaurants, though. That's like a level up.
Benihana kind of low-key sucks. The last time I was there, they weren't even throwing shrimps or anything. The guy just like lit an onion on fire, and he was like, "Look, an onion's on fire," and it was wow.
Yeah.
Like this food isn't that good, actually.
Benihana, not a sponsor anytime soon.
We're kind of just knocking them out.
Chili's, Aunt Annie's, or whatever Bucket said. Annie Ann's, Cheesecake Factory. We'll take your sponsorship.
A little bit of trivia here. Did you know that Danny Cannell had his signing day ceremony at Olive Garden?
That's amazing.
When he committed to Florida State over Miami, Florida, Washington, and Michigan, the ceremony was at an Olive Garden across the street from his high school, right off Federal Highway down there in South Florida.
That is incredible.
Can we get this guy some more breadsticks over here? Yeah, keep him coming.
Corral must have been too busy. All right, we can do this forever. This is actually a fun category of discussion, but we got to get to our recap screen and get everybody out of here. All right, I'm going to go with, this is my Thursday play. Drake May over 19.5 completions at -125. More NFL on Sunday. And my round 2 matchup is Nikolai Højgaard -125 over Max Grazeman. Buckets, do yours. And then Brasco, follow it up.
Union Berlin hosting Eintracht Frankfurt, both teams to score. Hellas Verona taking on Pisa or PI, both teams to score. And Leeds United taking on Nottingham Forest, both teams to score.
UFC Fight Night, we got Mario Batista money line, we got Kyoji Horiguchi by decision, and we got Jailton Almeida to win on the money line and to win inside the distance at +105.
Chip, you've got UConn money line at -115. We had a lot of discussion on other college basketball plays. Will Brinson has the under in the Super Bowl, 45.5 at -110. Drake May over rush yards, 37.5 at -110. And then the parlay, the Nev Core, Rashid Shaheed, 40 plus under 1.5 receptions. That's 55 to 1. We did discuss sprinkling the anytime touchdown to make it 190 to fun. We're trying to have some fun here, ladies and gentlemen, as well. We're going to have more fun at 10 o'clock on Sunday for our special Super Bowl picks show. Wow, we went really long. Honestly, I kind of wanted to go another 15 minutes. I wanted to talk more restaurant stuff. Now people are injecting like the pizza conversation, which to me is a whole separate category between like pizza and Domino's and Papa John's and like. Hey, that's for next week, folks.
PF Chang's getting some love in there. That is you got some connection, right? Patriots, Tom Brady, Mark Davis, PF Chang's. I mean, maybe we should be thinking PF Chang's here with the Super Bowl.
My mom calls it BS Chang's. She's not a fan. I don't know why she's not a fan.
There goes another sponsor.
Also not a sponsor. Yeah.
I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get you out of here. What a fun show. It's just always a fun show with this crew. Thank you, Danny Brasco. Thank you, Buckets. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Chip. And thank you, Ben, on the 1s and 2s and 6s and 7s. We'll see you next time. Next time I'll see you. I'll be in my home studio. See you next time, folks. We rest our case.
You know the law. Subscribe.